welcome back to History Hour. I'm Kyle Bowman, and I will be your host today. Spencer Hardenberg could not make it. Due to his angelic voice, he's being recruited by Ken Burns for his next documentary. Without further ado, let me introduce to you Sarah Grimke.
So happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And Sojourner Truth.
Howdy.
Howdy. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Okay, so Sojourner, we'll start with you. Describe to me your childhood.
I was born onto a plantation in New York, where my parents were sold soon after I was born, and I bounced around from plantation to plantation until I was 15.
Sounds rough.
It was.
Sarah, how was your childhood?
Well, I grew up in Charleston, South Carolina. My father was, oh boy, he was a prominent slaveholder. He had many, many slaves, and I saw the torture that they went through. And that's what got me interested into the abolitionist movement.
Terrible.
Yes.
So your father was a slave owner. How did you end up in the abolitionist movement?
Well, you see, that I saw the horrors of slavery.
Terrible, just
That's
terrible.
because my father was a slave owner. And so one day, me and my sister Angelina, you may have heard of her too.
I have.
We both saw these horrors, and one day she wrote a letter to William Lloyd Garrison.
And he was on the first hour of this
A
episode.
great man.
A great man.
He is a good man. Well, anyway, she wrote a letter to him, and oh my gosh, he, of course, is an editor at the very popular newspaper. Have you guys heard of it?
The Liberator?
Yes, the Liberator.
Yes.
And so she wrote a letter to him one day about anti-slavery, and he actually published it. And
Wow.
many people saw it. So
Wow.
both me and Angelina were faced with a decision. We're both very religious Quakers, and so we were faced with the
That's
decision: stay with the Quaker, a good standing Quaker, or we could join the abolitionist movement, and we chose the latter.
Take it as you wrote a letter, you're educated? How did
Yes.
you become educated?
Well, you see, my father was a very famous judge in South, I shouldn't say famous, but very well-known judge in Charleston, where I grew up. And so I studied to be a lawyer. And when they found out that I wanted to go to college with my brother, they stopped me.
How
They
unfortunate. I
Yeah.
never got the chance to learn to read. I was never educated.
So you're still uneducated.
Indeed.
You were literate?
Yeah. It's tough.
After your parents stopped your education, how did you further educate yourself?
Well, you see, after me and Angelina both joined the abolitionist movement, Theodore Weld actually tutored us on essentially how to be an abolitionist. He taught us how to speak
It's
to
great.
big crowds and
It's
just,
great.
yeah. And so he went on to marry Angelina.
Wow. Jordan, how about you? Did you ever try to educate yourself?
Well, yeah, I was trying to get further educated because soon after I was purchased, my final master, Thomas Dumont, promised me my eventual freedom, but when I confronted him about it, he went back on his word.
Wow.
It was terrible. If he had set me free, I would have furthered my education. Yeah.
Just describe the obstacles she faced.
Many,
Did you face
yeah.
any obstacles?
Well, yes, actually, yeah, many. Don't even get me started. Being a female abolitionist, Sojourner, you would know.
Oh, it sucks.
It's much, much harder than being a male abolitionist.
I can imagine.
Actually, a group of Massachusetts clergymen not only denounced me and Angelina for being abolitionists, but female abolitionists.
Oh.
It was shocking. We responded that we deserve not only the same educational rights, but the same social rights as men deserve.
You tell
Yes.
And so Catherine Beecher Stowe, a very successful female herself, she told us that we should accept the fact that heaven made men superior and women subordinate.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Really?
I was so done.
Wow.
And so my sister Angelina, she said that whatever is morally right for men to do, it should be.
I understand that both of you were involved in both the abolitionist movement and the women's rights movement.
Yes.
What were your role in those movements, and what were some of your notable accomplishments?
Well, Angelina and I were actually very prominent figures in both of those movements. We started speaking to just groups of women, but over time men came to see us, and soon we were in Boston and thousands came to see our lectures. I actually published a book in 1838 called Letters on the Equality of Sexes.
It's a great read.
It is. And that challenged the notion of public spheres. Angelina and I, we were the first to apply the idea of equality in the abolitionist movement with slavery to women.
Wow.
Yes, so we're
Great work.
quite
Great
accomplished.
Sojourner, how about you?
Well, I played a significant role in both the abolitionist and feminist movement. In the feminist movement, first of all, I gave my rousing speech, at the Ohio Feminist Convention. Ain't I a Woman? It was a great speech.
Yes.
And in the abolitionist movement, I was able to provide the public with a first-hand account of slavery from a black female in my book, The Narrative of Sojourner Truth. You should go out and get that.
I actually have read that.
Barnes & Noble, $11.99. Great deal.
No, $10.99. It's on sale.
Abolitionists called for the immediate emancipation of all slaves. Abolitionists were seen as radicals, for many believed that immediate emancipation was an absurd idea and could never happen. After the Civil War, many abolitionists became involved in the civil rights movement to get equal rights for blacks.
The abolitionist movement evolved into the feminist movement, for women seek the same rights black men had after the Civil War.